Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? So, Bethesda have given us another little Inside the Vault blog post with a little hint as to what's coming up over the next month or so. So, there's some interesting changes in here worth having a look at, and the known issues post has also gone live as well, so that will be worth taking a quick look at as well. So, let's jump in. So, nice water park picture there. This week we're delving into the Fissures of Appalachia to preview a pair of changes targeting Scorchbeasts. We're requesting your feedback about enemies in Fallout 76 and giving you a little bonus whenever you earn a well-rested buff. Okay. There are not vast amounts in here, but there's a couple of interesting things. Upcoming Scorchbeast Changes. So, we've been reading your feedback about Scorchbeast and Scorchbeast Queen, and there are a couple of changes in patch 6 later this month that we'd like to preview. Cool. So we know it's coming out later this month. First things first, Sonic Scream attack frequency. One of the most common points of feedback we receive about Scorchbeasts is how they feel like they're using their Sonic Scream attack too frequently. Okay, so yeah, they do use that a hell of a lot. A little more variety would be nice. Not quite sure where it's going to go with that, but that would require a degree more understanding, I think, of the AI behind it. So presumably, based on what this next bit says, they'll default to other attacks if their Sonic Scream's on cooldown. So in patch 6, we're increasing the timer between successive Sonic Scream volleys to a minimum of 10 seconds for Scorchbeasts and the Scorchbeast Queen. Scorchbeasts and the Sonic Scream attacks will still be challenging, but this change should allow players more time to react between volleys. Let us know how it feels, and so forth, and they're going to continue monitoring. So yeah, basically that should just mix up their attacks a little bit more, which is fine. A little variety is always good. I'm a little concerned. They're saying it won't make them too much less challenging, but I'm a little concerned it might. In general, I'm happy to have the variety, but I'm not keen on anything that makes the game any easier, really. As I've said a few times before, my long-term issue with the Fallout series is things get too easy after a while, so I don't want to see them nerfing enemies, making them weaker. More interesting I'm definitely up for, though. They do tend to be just kind of shoot it until it falls with limited strategy. But anything that makes it a bit more dynamic should be fun. The Scorchbeast Queen loot. In patch 6, we're also planning to fix a bug affecting the Scorchbeast Queen's loot list, which often results in receiving the same plan as loot even after multiple Queen kills. Once this fix is live, the Scorchbeast Queen will drop a wider variety of plans from a loot list, which should also limit cases where players receive a duplicate plan. Additionally, we're looking into ways to make our loot list more legendary in future, and we're still working on implementing them. We'll let you know when we have more details. So, short version, apparently, the number of plans dropping from Scorchbeast Queens is very, very low, and there's a lot of instances of people killing them over and over, or they get to that stage anyway, wherein they get the same plan, which is not the best reward ever. It's a bit disappointing. Certainly got a massive collection of duplicates in my stash at the moment. So, more variety there's good, and they're going to put more legendary items into a loot list as well, which will be cool. Definitely feel she's supposed to be the toughest enemy in the game, the big bad. So, being able to defeat her and getting poor loot as a result is not a great situation. So, it's good that they're making that a more rewarding situation. I'm definitely up for that. We're also working to make additional performance improvements during encounters, and we should see more to share on that in a future update. Okay, yeah, I can see why Scorchbeast encounters and Scorchbeast Queens in particular would cause performance issues, and smoothing that out, well, I'm always in favour of performance improvements. So, more generally from that, we want your creature feedback. Bethesda want as much information as possible regarding combat and creature fights and of all kinds, so they can sort of balance, try and keep things more interesting, that sort of thing. So, aside from Scorchbeasts, we're looking to gather any further feedback you may have on the wide variety of enemies you can encounter while wandering the wasteland in Fallout 76. Your feedback is important to us in making changes that can improve overall player experience, and we'd love to know what you'd like to see more of in the future and areas we can improve when it comes to shaping creatures, cryptids and other enemies. So, for me, one of the big things is I'd like to see them behave more intelligently, particularly the intelligent ones, or supposedly intelligent ones anyway. As Scorched in particular have been an annoyance since day one to me, that they just kind of run into cover, stick their head out, and just sit there until you bop them. So, yeah, that would be what I'd like to see, improvements in their AI. And preferably making them a bit less bullet spongy and a bit more tactical to take out. I'd be down for that as well. In short, the more feedback they get, the more they'll take it on board. They can make decisions that work for the larger player base as a whole as well. So, give them all that feedback. So, which ones are your favourites to fight and why? Which ones do you dislike fighting and why? What makes an encounter with an enemy or creature fun or intriguing? There you go. What do you want to see more of, I guess? What types of enemies would you like to see added? New enemies I would definitely be up for. Not sure how they'd introduce them. Like to see new areas. New zones added to the map. Maybe expansions. But that'll be way off down the road, I'm sure. Although possibly the good time for that would be sort of the 1 year anniversary. Put whole new areas into the map. But well, who knows, you know. Speculation. So, other than legendary items, what types of loot help you feel rewarding? I'd certainly like to have a bit more variety in that. I've not got many. Partly because I haven't gone farming them, but you know. What would you like to see more challenging enemies add? Oh, would you like to see more challenging enemies added in the future, and that may require multiple players or teams to defeat? For me, yeah, under certain conditions. I don't want them just popping up and owning me when I'm not expecting it, or busy making a camp or something. But more challenge is good. So, yep, general request to keep those feedbacks coming. And they've recently released the known issues post. They've already begun addressing some of that stuff, and they will continue to update and address as time goes on. And there's a little thing about current bonus, which is through till the 11th of February, which is you get 50% longer duration on your well-rested bonus. And there's some cool new stuff in the Atomic Shop, which I saw on stream today, actually. Sunglasses in particular quite cool. The Voltec tracksuit's quite cool as well. Not the sort of thing I'd go for, but it's an interesting thing. Having a quick look at that known issues list, there's a reasonable amount in here. I think there's probably stuff they do know about that they haven't included, and there's definitely already a need to update things. However, there's a couple of things I did want to pick up on. General performance improvements they're working on. That should go without saying, relatively speaking. They're working on that all the time. And then, on the whole, there's been a steady increase in performance. It has been crashing less and generally performing better, although I did have a bit of issue with that tonight. So, duplication and exploits and issues. Yep, continuing to work on it and knock that on the head. It is rather like playing whack-a-mole, that sort of thing, though. So, hopefully, much like performance, it will continue to improve over time. Stash limit, that's worth having a look at. Continuing to explore looking at increasing the size of the stash limits. They need to find a number they're happy with that won't negatively impact servers, and then they'll let us know when they're approaching a decision on that point, but they're still looking into it, so that's cool. Camp issues, a few little things to fix in there. Apparently, attacking another player's camp shouldn't tag you as wanted. Didn't think that was a bug, thought it was the way it was supposed to be, and I don't know, I have mixed feelings. I see why there's a problem with that, but at the same time, if there isn't a wanted tag, it kind of takes away some of the disincentive to prevent people from just coming up and going, hey look, here's somebody's camp, let's just bash it up. I don't really want to see any changes that makes that more likely to happen, to be honest. Not something I'm in favour of, but it's not working as intended, so that's probably why they're going to fix it. I have very mixed feelings on that. I would not rush to correct that if I was Bethesda. Admittedly, I have a biased opinion, but still. So, tamed creatures. Apparently it's causing a permanent increase to occupied camp budget. Not something I've had any experience with, but definitely needs fixing. It's an ongoing issue, that one. Bulldozed objects. Apparently, once they've been bulldozed and reappeared, you can't do it again. Needs a fix. And lack of required materials, but it says they're all available. I'm not quite sure which way this is going wrong, but in either case, we should be getting correct feedback, and they're working on that. Another big one, legendary creatures not dropping legendary loot. I ran into this on stream today, it was quite annoying. I think it was I forget what it was actually now. But I did encounter a legendary something or other somewhere, and ran over to loot it, and there was nothing there, or nothing interesting. So that was a little frustrating. A multiple starred legendary dropping single starred item was a little bit disappointing as well, that happened as well. Both of these things I'd like to see fixed. Weapons, armor, and items. Mostly this is stuff that we already knew about, stuff that they've actually since fixed with the hotfix or the patch. They are looking at something that was mentioned on stream here. They were aware of issues regarding energy weapons. Basically, they're not particularly effective most of the time. So they're looking at sorting that out. They're looking into power armor and weapon renaming. So much like you could in Fallout 4, you could name your own weapons. It was quite a handy thing. I used to use it partly to make them more interesting, partly to put them at the top of my inventory list, so I didn't have to go looking for them. But yeah, that's something they're looking to update later in the year, which is very non-specific. So I wouldn't think it would be the hardest thing to implement, but no hints at all whatsoever in any of this on, not that I expect it on known issues, on when we're going to be getting any new content, which is a little disappointing. Still waiting to hear more on that. I'm excited to see what new stuff Bethesda have got coming for us, but we'll have to keep our eyes open. For now, this is just the first of the, well, the most recent of the weekly posts. You know, hopefully over the next few weeks they'll drop some more hints, so it'll be interesting to see. This known issues and feedback blog post is under the Fallout 76 support subcategories on Bethesda's forums on Bethesda.net. So if you want to go and have a look yourselves, they're there. I will try and remember to link it in the description below as well. And yeah, so let me know what you think about the changes. Make sure you're letting Bethesda know what you think about the changes as well, more importantly. It's definitely some interesting stuff there regarding combat and rebalancing, something I definitely want to see sorted out a bit. Hope you found this interesting and informative, and you enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. Social media links down in the description, and if you haven't stopped by to catch up with one of the streams, there's a lot of chilled out fun, so do stop by. For now, thank you very much for watching, and I'll be speaking to you all very, very soon.